Speaking of hypocrisy and making examples out of people, we have to just mention this because it is so glaring, and I don't know that it's getting that much attention, certainly not the attention it deserves. Remember how we had a ton of lawmakers, mostly Republicans, who were against gun background checks because they represented an invasion of privacy? In other words, the government has no right to have a database of who does and doesn't have guns and a particular gun. It's a huge invasion of privacy to do background checks on people who have done nothing wrong. Remember that? Remember all those people?
Of course.
Of course you do. Some of those, this is so absurd, and you know where I'm going with this. Some of those same politicians, some of those same elected officials are okay with NSA surveillance of phone records, of email, of text messages. They don't feel that it is an invasion of privacy. I don't understand, and I'll allow both Lewis and Natan to, if they want to play devil's advocate, if they want to explain this to me, how can you believe that simply having a record that someone owns a firearm is an invasion of privacy, but be okay with all communication that that individual has sent or received being in the hands of the government? Is there any way to justify holding both positions simultaneously?
If you think that the background checks are an infringement on Americans' rights when it comes to owning guns, and that guns
vis-a-vis the Second Amendment,
right? And these guns are these great tradition, and just every domestic terrorist and good American should be able to get a gun, then I guess I could see this happening because, in their minds, everything that's going on with the surveillance is protecting us from dangerous Muslims, right?
And they think people having guns also protects us from dangerous Muslims. Natan, if you had to invent a way where you could be for the NSA surveillance but against background checks on the basis of an invasion of privacy, what else could you come up with?
Well, I think that, first of all, I think they would be against gun background checks because of an infringement on the Second Amendment, not on the Fourth Amendment.
Well, but some elected officials said it was an invasion of privacy. So
Okay.
let's explore that.
I mean, legally it's not, because the Supreme Court has said that it's not. But let's just take, for the sake of argument, let's say they think, what doesn't make sense is that you have to argue simultaneously that the reason why we need a database of phone records is so that the government can protect us. But the reason why we can't have background checks is because we need the people to rebel against the government,
right?
Who is supposed to protect us with the other database.
Yeah.
So it makes absolutely no sense in that regard. Although I will say that the whole database of gun registrants makes absolutely no sense because the law that wasn't passed by the Senate specifically prohibits it.
Right.
So even though they say that, it
wasn't even a real
in the
thing,
law,
yeah.
it's explicitly prohibited.
I guess as long as you have a gun, you're safe.
Is that what it really
they
comes
think.
down to?
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, very, very clear. Total double standards, total hypocrisy. The emperor has no clothes, and we just have this house of cards that is electoral consistency, political consistency, which does not exist and just completely falls apart upon the most basic scrutiny.
Right.